Iko Nini.
Episode 164. Tukisema like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend, and especially hit that like button because niko sure leo kutakuwa na zile raia that oh she's so beautiful mwafu niza ni connect na yeye unajua super daga hizo jo mpaka nashindwa jo nimekuwa kapimp tunakaa kapimp fulani
dating site
because unajua tume do like 3 shows back to back za like female artists and actors so tulianza na Kapienga tukaenda kwa Wengeshi and then you thirsty dudes damn thirsty so thirsty dudes. So another thing about thirsty dudes is like anytime I ask you a question they're not comfortable with that they think might make you like them less, they are going to get offended on your behalf. So just be ready for that. So when I to Xtatic, see we didn't plan it this way but Xtatic haamini kuwa Yesu ni Yesu. this was not planned that way because pia Wengeshi does not believe Jesus is Jesus. So now kuna msenza kwa like wako na agenda ya kutu change. We are not trying to change you. That was just like a coincidence. So X, like how you been?
I've been dope. I've been chilling, calm, working on so many responsibilities. I'm not gonna lie, it's been hectic. But here I am. We're still here. We're still moving, taking it a day at a time.
Okay. Because I think the last time tulipatana na wewe ulikuwa kwa pod yetu ilikuwa Hennessy something.
Yeah, it was Hennessy. Yes, it was the Cypher thing.
Hennessy Cypher.
Was like a year ago?
1824. Maybe a year and a half. And some change,
2021 I think. Mlipataga check mzuri yote inakunga mko mmefurahi yani.
We could say so.
So alafu but now nataka ni kutake back to kitambo kabisa, like the first time niliwahi kumeet was MC Africa. Remember MC Africa? Which year was that? 2009?
2009 or 8.
I probably was still in school.
You're still in school?
I was still in high school.
Oh shit.
Just getting in through illegal. Like, I was not like legally 18. But
so
we had to say we were 20, but it's a mistake to say that. Don't do that. Don't.
So there was you and there was also Calligraph was also, that's the first time.
Jones,
and then like another thing Elena stand out is the little girl I saw that day and the MC I came to like, meet later were very different. Because that little girl, I think, like you said, you're still in high school, you are a little bit timid. I feel you are haukutokea as the confident person you are right now. Oh, so which high school were you in?
Niko kwa high school mob, ne? Don't get in trouble, but
kufukuzwa?
More or less. Kuna kuekelewa, kuna kufukuzwa, kuna being stubborn. Even if I was like a timid person, I think I always stood by my opinion. So even some things were just like, why would you expel? But high schools. Because you got to na
drama zake.
Like one day you do something and it's like, oh, we don't like whatever, and it's like, I'm not breaking the rules. So one to the other. I just think I wasn't comfortable enough in like most, especially the Kenyan education and the things that they put in place. I always find them really colonial. So if you go against them and you're trying to give them a reason, you're a rebel and you're trying to make it easier even for them themselves.
To expel your ass. Kwani what did you do? Kitumia majina ka colonial na kuwa I become very curious.
I like in one of them, I'm just going to talk about one of them. They did something, cut off something, I believe. I don't know if kilikuwa canteen. Doesn't mean that I love food that way, but let's just go. We love food that way. But then I went like, okay, this can't be, they're not providing this, so why don't we have like a demonstration, but not like a violent one. We just stand at the parade, just not move. And some people got the wrong ideas and tried to make it like a violent one. And I was like, hey, this is going out of control. And then now my name was like, I was the inciter. And I was never in any of those violent scenes. I was just like, I just said, let's just stand at the parade. Like, that's all I wanted.
Ilikuwa a girls only school ama mixed?
Girls only school,
so ulipelekea azimio la umoja. Azimio la umoja
maandamano
maandamano Mondays.
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't take that bullshit around here.
So akasema and your name kila mtu akaconfess na akeka tu jina yangu, nikasema ni sawa.
And
they didn't have enough like evidence to even say I was there, so they had to bring up something else, which was
okay,
which was really why.
Na hii time yote who's at home, your dad and your mom?
My dad.
They
had separated, so I was living with my dad.
Okay.
And
then now ukapigiwa simu?
Akapigiwa simu, akakuja wakasema kenye walisema, and then we went home. And it was just now looking for a different school. After that it was just like day school after day school. So and then that's the reason why I was able to just be available for like MC Africa.
I don't know if he had any story tunafaa kudiscuss one utatuambia kama inafaa kubaki ama ifai kubaki. But one of the funniest experiences I've had with you, I'd say two stand out. One that stands out is kuna time nilikuwaga fisi, alafu I think kuna time ulianzishaga, you had 2 Facebook accounts. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I guess.
I don't know if you remember that. Alafu one of her Facebook accounts, you taken this, I think it was like American rapper. Ulikuwa umemweka hapo. Mimi nisha slide go in because you know American rapper anajuaje Kiswa. I didn't know it was an American rapper. I just thought it was a Kenyan girl. Because and then I slid into that inbox and hey, move to Leah Xtatic. You don't remember that?
Oh my gosh, I don't. My memory sometimes.
Ulikuwa umetumia picha ya nani? It was not Azealia Banks. It was this a car, whatever. But I didn't know her because like the sort of hip hop I listened to, and the picture you'd used as Yendani.
I think it was probably what's her face?
But nakumbuka. Niko nimeingia kwa hiyo inbox. So that's memory stands out. Another memory lena stand out ni pale Sarakasi. Like there's that time we used to do like this to short Iko Nini videos. I think you appear in one or something. I think so you are wearing this military thing of yours. Alafu tukakuja, I think ilikuwa mimi na Ian. Alafu unajua now you have Xtatic is very interesting, like the most feminine woman you'll see with the most masculine hug. You have a very masculine hug. Like,
oh my gosh.
And pick a hug, Nico, like, what the fuck? Like, unajua confused.
She robbing me shit.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta check my pockets now. See what she left with.
Say ilikuwa funny pia. Yes, jaisahau hiyo time because you were wearing this
dominance.
You were wearing this top yani. Alafu hiyo top yenyewe ilikuwa like unajua ile like the cleavage is there, so I'm trying to concentrate on other things. Then the hug was so masculine. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I didn't even know how to react. So there was kulikuwa na hizo mbili. So wacha tubongejwa vitu kadhaa. Wacha tuanzanie MC Africa. So how did you find yourself on MC Africa? Na ulisikiaje juu yake?
I think I was at Homeboys. I used to go to Homeboys to either stay at the studio. I wanted to intern there or just to know, how to be like a producer for like HBR. So I used to go to Dilly's a lot. Also, there was a studio there either way. So, and when I was there, Nikambu, I think MC Africa is happening because I don't think I was prepared. And then I met Blaze, and Blaze aliniandika tu haraka. Oh, Xtatic is here. Kaandika tu jina chini, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because I was just there to just see it.
Kuwatch.
And kasama tu kaende. So nikaingia tu hivyo like that. I was just passing by.
Yeah.
And that's why like I had a skirt and and whatever I was wearing. It wasn't meant for.
Ulifika level gani?
I think to the semis, and then I lost my voice.
Yeah.
And
you lost your voice because I remember some
nilikuwa na homa, and then by then I know how to treat, because even I would take beer or alcohol and lose my voice, and kama niko na homa I'd lose it even more. And that's the reason why I wasn't singing. I didn't try to, because I knew nitakuwa kama case example like Davido, who I feel is the same, like he loses his voice, talking voice easily from either performances or whatever it may be. I've seen that in many other people. So that's what happened, and then I was just choking. I was unajua nile nyonongea alafu unasikia some sharp scratchy nini uko tu sana. I'm bothered because of that, and by then having anxiety, you never know how to go about that until later on. You kind of, you know, whatever, through your confidence and knowing that, you know, mistakes unaweza zimake. Ukianza kujijudge hapo unapotea. Juu nilikuwa na jijudge. You're the last one. Juu hata ulikuwa tu like unachoke. Nilikuwa na jijudge. Now I'm not thinking about, and I have like a lot of intrusive thoughts. So I'm not thinking about, oh shit, like go on. I'm just thinking about, but I've messed up.
Ukimess up inakuwa hard sana kuendelea.
So it can be easy once you learn. It's just normal. You can start again. Like if you're a young person, if you mess up, that's normal. It's just how you pick it up. Because if you don't, then umechoke for real. And again, you might be overthinking a lot of things about it. And maybe the next punchline that you had or whatever you had in thought was just gonna revive you. So just don't think too much about it, about messing up. Start again.
Okay. Alafu, how long did it take for the Sony deal to happen? Because I remember like ukadisappear kidogo, then the next thing nasikia uko signed to Sony.
That was 2 years later. And I had released the prep track, which was the first track that I've ever done a video for. I had met King then, Mush King. And that's when we started working. We just said anything. So tukashoot kwa balcony ya place yenye madhe alikuwa naishi. And put it online, and it just gained traction. Kina Chris Kirubi, Questlove, retweeted, like, you know, about it, and then kidogo I got the call, and so that's how they contacted me, hit me up within a day.
Now that's Sony SA.
That's Sony itself.
It's not, but see, Sony Africa is based in SA.
It's based in SA. But yes, that's the headquarters. But by then they were just landing in Africa. Like they were just putting up at headquarters in Africa. Like in 2011, 2012, they were pretty much setting it up. Like most of the artists who have been signed to Sony, like Lyra, I guess, it had been there, but they had no headquarters. They were using like different maybe productions, you know, I guess studio productions, or just something they just hadn't, you know, grounded themselves.
Alafu, now how old are you? By then, 20?
I am 31.
No, by then?
By then, I am 20.
20, So, kuna kuwaga na signing bonus? Ama hii Africa tu ni endo ngoje signing bonus? Susamaga place nitoka Jitombe, alafu.
I guess you're talking like the advance and all that. So what happened was I knew there was going to be that, and you know there should be that somehow, so that you're able to sustain yourself. And you know we get there and it's like, oh, it's different for upcoming artists. We can maintain you for like a year or a couple of months, because all this money is refundable, and we don't want to, you know, keep in debt.
They have to recoup.
You have to recoup that, and it's not that, but basically the point was you are an upcoming artist. So there's a lot that we're bringing to the table than you are. Understandably so, but then again, if you're looking at somebody you're signing, you don't know where the background is, and all of these people are gonna get excited about it. So you don't want your artist just to be out there just, you know, trying to make a living, and this is all they have. You've signed a 360 deal that you own me basically. So I think an advance would have been fair, especially for 5 years. A little something. It doesn't have to be like $1 million, but it has to be a little something for you know, the artists to just keep their lives going on as you do an album, because you're working with a lot of artists. So what makes you sure that this album is going to be out in a year? This album is going to be, you know? So there's that maintaining factor that I feel should, and if you feel like you need to, because they're so young, they may not know what to do, blow up that money, whatever, then you can handle that. You can find ways to handle this, that, and the other. So there was none of that. Like, really, it was just a maintenance fee.
Iko maintain, were they paying rent, buying food? Like, what are they doing?
It was just like a sum, like sum of money. It's like, here, this is just for months, and that's the one-off thing. They're not gonna
so it's not like a monthly stipend?
It's like you get an amount. It's not like the most, because most people thought, oh my gosh, now you got like a multi-million thing. Like
Iko Nini, lazima tuambie tu nini, because hiyo ni poa because the reason why I ask such is you might find someone who's independent right now and they want a Sony deal or a whatever deal. So that's why, like, we even want to know the figures.
I don't know. It was basically around $4,000 around there. Yeah.
$4,000 one off.
Yeah, it's just a one off. Yeah.
To hold you down for 5 years.
No, you'd think, when you're thinking $4,000, you only salary a month. Especially even at that time, even that's good money, but it's when it comes to rent and responsibilities, that hata itafika mwaka itakuwa tu like 4 months. 5 months.
Ukiangukia at least car rent unasema ni mwaka moja. But hiyo ni mwaka moja utoki kwa hao, auendi
bus, exactly.
Auendi place yote. Alafu hii for Thaul kuna ipata waliku relocate to SA for some time ama everything was done ikiwa hapa.
Everything was done ikiwa hapa. I used to go there to record like for 2 weeks. The most I've stayed there is like maybe 4 weeks. Because we had to record and what is it called, finish the album and what is it and do a music video, 1 or 2. A lot of things were delayed within that, but I've never relocated there. The thing with me is that I just was always introverted, so you're not gonna get me, even at this point in my life, you're not gonna get me just anywhere. Like nitakuwa tu home, like
utakuwa pale na mfwetu in South Africa.
No, I would have loved being there. Maybe being there would have grounded everything, like would have made things move faster or even move at all. But I guess just sustaining me there was just another
because I'm thinking like a place like Sony, they should be able to even like hire out just like an apartment in like Pretoria or what, because the interesting thing about even apartments is they are much cheaper in SA than Kenya. You know that? Like what 7.5 million shillings will get you in SA, it can't get you in Kenya. Kenya itakupatia ka studio apartment kale ukinyamba kila mtu anasikia. Like Kenya things are so overpriced.
Then that was then. That now I feel like everything's different.
Kenya,
no,
we are more overpriced. No. I still go through, like I always check out houses in SA and then I compare as a Kenya. And SA is one of the reasons why I always tell people like in Kenya, just build Ocha, Nairobi rent. Because SA will always show you it's easier to own a house here than Kenya. Like if I have 7.5 million shillings, I'm getting a 2-3 bedroom apartment in SA, a beautiful apartment.
I think that would have been it would have been sustainable, but then I guess they had to focus on a lot of other people because now you are at their responsibility. They must make sure udem alikuja hapa juu yetu itabidi tumsustain in one way or another. So maybe again I felt like there was a strategy, yes, but not
most probably ilikuwa like also the people you're dealing with were just doing guesswork. Cause unajua wale za konitangwa A&R wale wa states they know everything. Like they know let's do this, let's do that, we have to put album in this, we have to see like so it's a very whatever process, but if you just get a bunch of Africans who are starting out, they're there wondering like kwa nini ujabook studio na yeye ndiye anafaa kwa na book.
Exactly.
So
but even states si wanakonga tu na the same
but states they screw you. Like they'll get you in a deal that's so bad, but they'll make sure they get something out of it. Si kama hii yako ile like you're working on an album. Was the album ever completed?
It was completed by the first year. In fact, I submitted like almost 21 songs. 21 to 23 songs. This is including like collaborations and whatever. So that's why I wondered why it was being like
shelved.
Shelved or just held back. So Nico, okay, fine. So they released it even in 2017, like that's 5 years later. Oh
shit. So Kitia 2012 was released in 2017.
And I feel like at that point everyone was just trying to salvage, to be like, because you have to be answerable. Like because this is just not Sony South Africa, this is Sony. So you have to be answerable to the main Sony. You asked for this budget. Where's the album? This was a multi-album deal. So you have to release something to say, okay, hey, we released something. Like you can't fault us. Maybe they got in trouble, I don't know. I would never know. Like it's just like and also with signing also it can be strategic in the sense that we are seeing a rising star in this country and we have the similar talent here. So can we just pick up this artist and just shut them up? Just do breadcrumb and then seem like we're doing something. Yeah, I'm not saying that that's the case,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
most likely it happens.
Like even I always say who best say to Rapture. Rapture is a stand-up comedian. Had done 2 shows by 2009. But now when Churchill came into the equation, it fucked his whole shit up. So it looked like a good deal, and I don't blame Churchill for that, of course. But it looked like a good deal, but sometimes that independent thing keeps you alive better than locking yourself whatever. That thinking, let's think big. Instead of Kayole, let's think Nairobi. That's where the shit starts getting whatever. So like, which collab was on that album? Paul, because me, I didn't even think the album came out. That's how, because me, I knew 1 minute ukona deal, then the next minute ikajua deal imeharibika. But I didn't even know about the album, and mostly I know so much shit about people, but I'm surprised when you're saying the album came out.
Yeah, because by then they released it even like later on, that I just happened to bump into it on YouTube.
Hata we mwenyewe.
Okay.
You see. Oh shit.
So like
collabs ulikuwa nazo ni kina nani?
There was Vanessa MD was in there, but didn't make it like to what they released. AKA definitely Questa, Chels from Angola. We even had a conversation with Davido, like we were supposed to do something with Davido then. And I think that was when they were trying to also kind of sign him, or they had signed him, I'm not sure. But whatever, that didn't go through, I guess because of the time or whatever he had going on. So there were such collaborations, and I guess even I think there was a point I contacted Calligraph and possibly maybe Ace for a song. There were so many people I wanted to be in it, but I also had to stop relying on collaborations. I think the way that I began my journey into music, we were with Sniper. We started like a group thing, or we wanted to, because we had like a bunch of songs together. So I was so used to just being in collaboration. So that's the reason why you see my earlier songs, apart from I Lost Blood, I think. Those ones were with just, you would hear me on a KVK for a song. You would hear me on just collabos. And then, of course, tukiona vitu kama Room 16, kulikuwa na criticism zenye mtu ana notice na kwangi hata kwa song peke yako. Which I don't think is, right now, the way I am, I'm like, it's not a bad thing to just be a collabo person. Look at T-Pain. That's how, he made it. Or Jeremiah, like, there you have to know like where your strong suits are, and so that you're able to be like, I can make my own, and maybe when I do, I just need possibly even a lot of support. You need some support to just be confident in what you are doing. And at 19, 20, what are you recording about? Like what was the album about? It was just rapidity rap shit. No, it wasn't rapidity rap shit, because on that song we have on that album we had a song like Obsession Diary, which was basically a girl who's obsessed with somebody who she can never be with, but makes so many promises. It's just like that side chick kind of thing, with like a person who treats you so good, but he'll never leave the wife. You're always thinking, he's gonna leave the wife. I wish I would have re-recorded it though. Though now that I know my voice, I loved that song, and but then for the standard of 2012, it would have really stood out. There's also Big City, which goes into a girl who comes into the city, that type of whatever, and gets, it's not as they thought, and now she's, doing things that she wouldn't necessarily want to do. And, there's a lot of, there was that. And then, of course, We Ride was more of like an intro to who I am. And then Rapidity Rap was the AKA song, the song with Pretty Ugly. There's a song with Pretty Ugly there. It's called Trouble. There was Trouble, and there was a bunch of songs. Even love songs were in there. So the AKA song you're saying, you featured him? Yes. Okay. Because how is it working with that dude? Because me, the only thing I know about him is him breaking doors. I'm very sorry, like I always feel guilty. But I follow Kenyan rap. I don't follow outside Kenya rap. It was like very successful. It stayed. It was the one song. Somebody highlighted this, and I cannot confirm. But I guess it was the first song, AKA song, as a feature. We stayed on one of the top, or even the top radio stations there, 5FM, for like 30 how many weeks? It stayed there for a while on the charts, like almost even half a year.
okay.
in the charts, and it was number 2 for 10 weeks. Yeah, it was number 2, number 1 there, like top 3.
So mli record pamoja ama
Yeah.
How was he?
He was good. He was good. He was cool. It was not a bad experience, you know. We are there just knowing, and you know, he felt, at least in an interview that he did, that I introduced him to East Africa. It was the first collaboration, I guess, which was outside of South Africa. So he was pretty you know, happy about it. We ran into trouble of, do you want to be in this song or do you not? And you know, for me, I never really suck up so much, so removed him from the song. And then Pretty Ugly put a verse. I was like, let Pretty Ugly put a verse. But then because of who AK was compared to Pretty Ugly, Sony preferred that he stay there. You know, they would talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of, and he showed up. He actually really showed up. He loved the song. You know, even though kulikuwa na this back and forth that I didn't understand, possibly issues between Sony and AKA's camp and what he wanted.
Well, that's money wise.
I guess, I'm not sure.
Probably they paid him $4,200 more than your whole album.
Yeah, so
See, no, that bullshit.
Yeah. So after that alikuja tukarecord, tukafanya video. It was dope. Yeah, we never really spoke so much after that. So we never even performed or anything that song. But yeah, it was a good thing.
Yeah, because vile nilikuwa nasema like mimi inakamigi like to East Africa I follow Kenyan rap.
Yeah.
I follow Tanzanian rap. Uganda poleni jo sijui chochote kuwahusu like so now with South Africa, like Double HP, I knew Double HP, but I was not like I'll be hypocritical, tell people I used to sit down and listen to him. So majuzi tukiongea juu yake, but he hanged himself.
Double HP.
He died by suicide.
Yeah. He but now hanging. It was not even carbon monoxide, and it was like his 3rd attempt at killing himself. So he was going
dying
through
by suicide.
Yeah. Mtu anafaa kusema hivyo?
But yeah.
Okay. So he missed my 3rd attempt at killing himself.
At trying to.
What's the difference?
I mean, we need to treat, when we are going with killing, people look at it as heinous, as you know, like it's whatever to murder, and that's the reason why even trying to you know go by suicide, people alafu fail utaweza pelekwa jela, it's like really criminalized. So people dying by suicide, it's like an occurrence that can happen at any point, because first of all, the mental health system everywhere is people are learning. So we just need to give more, it's not grace, like more humanity, or just humanize what they were feeling, because sometimes kufika your level ni, because I've ever attempted, like I've lost count. Okay, maybe 5. But
attempted?
Yeah, before, from high school and everything. Like my mental health has always been, you know, one thing that I don't joke about. And at least when I found therapy, I was able to go through a lot of things that I've experienced as a teenager, as, you know, growing up and just knowing myself and just being by myself. I've had to learn about therapy. So that's the reason why we humanize that. Because even with a case like Ricky Rick, which is the same, he had a lot of mental issues that was even way before, even 10 years before he was like on meds, or so I came to learn.
Because Rick was fucked up, because I think he just gotten like a multi-million deal with what was it, Barclays, and still killed himself. So it's that thing we always tell people, it's not always financial. Because there are people who think it's only finances that can make you.
No. He always had like mental health issues that were deeper than anyone could think. You know, from what I know, they were really, really deep. And this is, of course, it felt like it wasn't the first attempt. Because, you know, if you look at even his interviews or even his shows, he would sign off as if he's not going to be there.
Oh, okay.
Most of the, like, now since you don't follow up on this, like most of the things, like, you would be like, you know, like, that's a person who's saying, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Like, he's for sure about it, I'm not here for a long time. Like, you would see it in how he would sign off. You see how people who just know that anytime whatever is in here will catch up. And I won't be able to stop it. I won't be able to stop the voices in my head, and this is how I will go.
And I think now, talking about the voices in your head, I think that's why I like for me when I say like I don't listen to African rap, someone will be like, but you are an African. But I always feel like African rap does not talk about the voices in your head. That's why like now most rappers are on that rapidity rap shit. Like there's so much in it, machine gun rap, which I appreciate, but I prefer someone telling me like, what the fuck, like my mind is playing tricks on me. What are they called? Akina? Ghetto Boys. Have like one of my favorite rappers, naitagwa nani, Slag or Atmosphere. Will always have that shit of the voices in my head.
Yeah.
Because I've told people, my relationship and thinking about suicide is different from, it's like the way someone will think about it, like Nene. Me, I think about it in high places. So I have this very weird thing that I learned through a Hollywood show that in life there are two sorts of people when it comes to heights. There are people who are afraid of being pushed, and there are people who are afraid of jumping. I fall in the category of people who are afraid of jumping themselves. So I hate high buildings because there's always that voice in my head and that's not low enough. I hate that shit. Stakagi kuwa around hapo. Yeah, so I have that. I always avoid such places. Hata nikiangaliaga, I'm one of those people nikiendaga pale nione vile mna build mahau mob kilelesho, I'm like, I can't fuck with that.
What you have is intrusive thoughts. You think about things happening even when they may not happen.
Yeah, so there's that. But sasa wewe, you, what sort of, like, what was pushing you in that mental space?
Just I feel like with my ADHD, we can be prone to things like anxiety, depression, you know, and because our dopamine is unregulated. One moment I'm happy, you saw me, I was happy. The next moment I feel like, oh my gosh, this world would do better without me. So I'm prone to that. So I'm prone to having voices in my head. I have intrusive thoughts. And I came to learn about pure O. Like pure OCD is just from the mind, where you can fixate on something that's not even really happening there. And it's part of the intrusive thoughts, you know. And I've even joined like support groups. Once I learned, you know, you learn some things later on. You're like, oh, I'm experiencing that. It's like I've just never known how to word it. But I experience that on a daily basis. It's like there's intrusive thoughts and then there's pure O. It's like you're obsessed with you have this obsession with your thoughts that you may look at, like, let's say for instance, because I used to be, or I am, it comes and goes like a cutter. And then like looking at razors, sometimes I'd just think of, what if I swallowed them and they were like 20 razors? So it's like I'd have that thought obsessively that I'd be like, oh, stop thinking about it. Or what if you look at a knife and you're just like, you think stab. You're not going to. But it's just like part of it. It's a subject that not most people talk about, like, you know, having major intrusive thoughts that are just like they're really wild. It's like you're driving and you're like, what if I just hit this you know, and you're not, and it replays in your mind over.
I had Nani joking about that, Bill Barr. You've seen the Bill Barr joke where he says that sometimes he's driving and he thinks about, what if I just need to tuko barabara kidogo nipite na watu. So now with that, you see, like with that now, where mine is height based. So since mine is height based, I really used to hate driving around like those cliffs,
even escarpment.
Because niko like Igarin is a flight. You see, so it's such a fucked up phenomenon. And now if I want to hear about such, I listen, like American rappers will talk about such shit. But now vile nimekwambia, African rappers will always be like, I'm the best rapper. I got this other dude is there just telling me like, this, have this shit I go through, this shit, and I'm like, I end up relating to it. So that's what ended up like blocking me so many African rappers. Because mtu alikuwa niambia like, Buddha, skiza umse, nikiakisha tu hivi. I'm like, nah, I don't fuck with that. I'm sorry, like, tell me something. Tell me about whatever. So kuna hiyo, but it's so intrusive. They're called intrusive thoughts. Have a lot of those motherfuckers when it comes to heights. That's why I don't mess with heights.
So there's a lot of there's a mental health crisis in a lot of places because of how we don't understand the mental. You know, like we look at like when you're sick, you go to the hospital, and then we look at mental health as we tulia bana. It's like that's the treatment. Tulia. No, that's not. That should not be the treatment. It should be have you spoken to a therapist? Do you need help? How can I be there for you? It's just as simple as that, you know. And once you're not, you don't understand that, you'll treat people different, and then they will reflect it on themselves, and it will get worse for them. It's just like if you're not ready to deal with like a person who's dealing with mental health, because you feel like they already think they're a bother. You know. So you have to find ways to speak to them, to know what is their trigger, to know how to care for them. And I feel like the world would be a better place, and there would be less suicides if that was the case. But if we keep on just looking at it as base level, ambia tumse kuna mtu mwingine mwenye ana miguu
najuage ujinga. So lazima nikuulize basi, history ya DJ Brown Skin ulichukuaje?
That was it really got to me, because I feel like I've been in situations where people didn't consider my mental health. Go, like all that talk. You know, it's really manipulative. You know, when you look at someone doing that, because si amezoea, and people would bring that up, si amezoea kufanya vitu kama hizi, unafikiri hata mimi sisumbuki akifanya. It's like you didn't know how to care for a person who had mental health issues, and now you're aiding the suicide, because that's exactly what he was doing. You're aiding the suicide. Because
even like before you even go back to him, there's one story that an Iko Nini fan gave us, and it stayed with me. He's called Nubian King. So Nubian King was telling us about one of his cousins. So this cousin of theirs had suicidal thoughts, and once told his dad, like, you know what, I feel like committing suicide. And the dad, being African, told him that shit of, if you want to go, just go kill yourself. Do you know this guy hanged himself with a barbed wire? Do you know what it takes to hang yourself with a barbed wire?
Exactly.
So when I was watching that video of this dude and his wife, and he's daring her to use Nini, then Nini in me comes, like, history and Anika come back to my mind. Like, it's not normal for most people to say they want to commit suicide. So if someone ever threatens that, it means they are not okay. And if you have any ounce of humanity ndani yako, haufai kuwa dare, number one. Number two, this person gave birth to your kids. You might hate her, but these kids need their mother. Whether their mother is suicidal or not, they need their mother. So afu nikienda kwa internet, there's always this bullshit of boy child, where people now turn it into a male versus female thing. And they're thinking like, alafu of course the religious bullshit was there. Oh, when she died, oh Jesus, he gave me. You saw his bullshit Christian posts. Like, what the fuck, man?
So first of all, that's a crime. You're aiding in suicide, and if you look at, you know, like the law, that's actually a crime.
But Kenya you can get away with it. I think it's going
Kenya,
to get away with
it. They get away with a lot of things, and that's the reason why watu kuhusi watenda jela. When really.
So Zaki story DJ Brown Skin ulichukwaje?
Sikuwatch your video. But vile tu ni hiyo headline.
Sikumaliza the video.
Me sikuwatch the headline itself. Just like, this he should also go. I'm sorry, he should go.
Cause mikile nashindwa ni like I grew up with like around my mother's love, sindio. I would never want to deny my kid that. That's number one. Number two, if you claim to love someone, and yes, maybe they've threatened you before they're going to kill themselves, don't let them kill themselves. You know, like,
just know that there's a problem there, and maybe you're not the right person to handle it. Look for somebody else to handle it. But you know, when I look at even his situation, I look at an ignorant person. This is quite an ignorant person who's possibly
who didn't love her,
who has been manipulative, you know, and now it's like, let me record. And then, you know, there's that, alikuwa na record, I saw it, and then so that ati angekufa na akukuwa na recording, we would have thought yendo alimuwa, so he was probably doing. It's like, even if we would have thought, you're still aiding in the suicide,
because there's something you could have done to save her life.
Aliza watu wako. Okay, hii ni number one kwangu. Kama mtu ni suicidal, usifanye kuwe na poison kwa hiyo hao. Like, it's anaweza feature, but the minute I come now, I'm grabbing you, I'm trying now me the difference between me na yeye ni I'm trying to make you not die so that I'm accused if I'm worried about being accused. But why would people accuse you in the first place? You understand? Like, mtu akidie from poisoning, do you ever think that the person they were with poisoned them? You always think they died by suicide. So for you to even think about that is you wanted this person.
You're making it about you, like in the sense that, oh, if I it's like you can't stop it. You just want it to, oh, it's out of my hands. You go, you do it yourself. And it's like you could actually just help them. No matter how much you hate them, you could actually take them to a hospital. Like, let's just take you there. Let me hide this. It's not about me anymore. About how people will look at me. Oh, you have made you crazy. No. It's not about you. It's about them.
Do you think there's a difference between someone being dramatic and someone being toxic? Because I feel like people confuse the two.
Yeah, there is definitely.
Because the minute someone brings up, I'll kill myself, it stops being dramatic and toxic. It starts being a mental health issue. Because it's not a normal thing to say, I'm going to kill myself. But it's a normal thing to say, like, it's dramatic, it's toxic. You understand?
Yeah.
So
it's mostly dramatic. I mean, you see, what I feel is people, you see, when people say this is attention seeking, maybe there's a word for it. Somebody said they're maybe not seeking attention, they're seeking help.
Yeah.
Because if you find someone just doing something over and over, they've not been heard enough. So if, like you said, this girlfriend pops in, and you're cheating on them, the thing is, maybe you're used to doing it so much and not seeing the problem that emotionally we don't need to like invalidate how they're feeling. They can't handle it. They don't know how to handle it because this is a person I love. What they're going through is betrayal trauma. Like, you've betrayed them and they've given you chances over and over, and you said you love them. So there's that. So you can expect that. How many times that did we see, like, even this cop who went and shot the babe after finding, was it in Brazil, whatever, with this other guy. They weren't doing anything, but they were just like walking up to a car, shot her, like kichungi,
But I'd say that's more dramatic and toxic.
That's very toxic.
Yeah.
That's an abuser kind. That was a cop. In the, like, why put yourself in that space? Maybe even that has been happening for so long, and most abusers get manipulated back into the relationship that maybe they found a person, because they were not even found in the act or anything. They just found a person who could listen to them, but then they were not, because they're not too confident in leaving this situation. Keep in mind, he's a cop. He always keeps guns. Maybe he even threatens you with guns, and all that. So it maybe was a toxic situation that you were trying to get out of. Maybe you met somebody who's treating you better, and now it's just like, I can't leave this person because I'm afraid. I'm being put in a whatever of danger, because so many people say that me no go back watch home say so now it was fine, now I caught you, boom boom boom. So there's a lot to decipher in even mental health, or even how we deal with the human interactions. There's a lot of communication problems.
That one of someone shooting someone, I will not classify it under mental health. To me, mental health is what we were talking about between I used to realize those dopamine levels. Like, the minute that people understand that the human brain has these chemicals, and for you to operate as a normal human being, these chemicals have to be balanced in a certain way. And it's a thing of very fine margins. So ukiwa na dopamine levels zako zikiwa chini sana, you might want to boost them up, and this is where now drugs come in. This is why people get addicted to drugs. Like, if dopamine didn't exist, hakuna mtu angetumia heroin and all that. It's because ile time hauna ina crash, alafu hizi na push to the level. So ukishajua the human brain is not perfect, then you'll understand when someone who you're married to starts threatening you, wanaenda kujiua and what, and you actually see them taking poison, you're going to react in a different way to when you think the human brain is perfect. Checky.
But also, we are at a very self-aware level. There's also a lot of people lack self-awareness. I've even seen, and I'm not going to like mention names, like because like we've even seen like top people who we respect react certain ways towards their partners or towards other people, or become abusive. They're not self-aware. And then they make this music, you're like, wow, oh my gosh, and all that. That's just you being a creative. Like, you as a person, you're not okay for you to be doing that. Like, Trey Songz, who's doing all these love songs and whatever, and now, like, he gets cases every day. Like, there's that. And we need to, hey man, it's like truly a very messed up society, and how there are things fundamentally that we believe in that are just very toxic in nature from since we were kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are reacting from how our childhood was. I saw my dad react like this, so it must be right. This was the first like compass.
Yeah.
And if they're showing you reacting like this, or even saying some things is right, you know, trying to whatever a child, and then you see your child is, you know, into wearing makeup, and then you start going like, oh, you're a hoe. You start telling them that early.
Yeah.
You know, or you see your child, oh, you'll just be a hood nigga, you'll get shot, whatever. They'll just feel like that's their, you're planting that's their fate. You know, you're doing that over and over. You're making them feel worthless.
Yeah.
That they may just result to, you know, championing that worthlessness, like in the sense that, okay, fine, you said that, I'm nothing, and that just attributes a lot to how we feel or how we think about ourselves. Yeah.
And I think it also even starts at the school level, where you've heard of try and imagine Kenyan kids who are born autistic. Like you're an autistic kid in a Kenyan public school system. So an autistic kid won't know how to express themselves in 1, 2, 3 ways.
Yes.
They're going to be angry easily. They're going to be, unajua. But sasa ukienda kwa public school system where kids are supposed to be beaten, this is where now a kid ends up being beaten. Kaule mtu alichapwa like 107 kids.
Yeah.
Alafu utasikia like mtu asipochapwa atakuwa mjinga. And we're like, okay, kuna hizi country zote zimeendelea kushinda Kenya. Kwa nini watu ya chapu yuko? Then unasikia mjinga na kuambia unajua ni wazungu. Inferiority complex steps in where you think you're so inferior that bila kuchapwa hauwezi behave. Alafu naambia watu like, buda unajua mimi sikuwa nachapwa kama mtu huyu. You're abused, dude. Like some of us were not whooped as kids.
Exactly.
As in, me, the amount of whooping I got from my parents was negligible. Maybe that's why I'm an atheist then, because shit, she could have whooped me to love Jesus. Some of my dad could have.
Exactly.
Yeah, so kuna hizo ujinga.
It's just a fear-based concept, which they get from religion.
Yeah.
It's a fear. You must install fear, and that's the reason why when people say, "Oh, this is a loving," that's how you look at your parents. This is a loving God. My parents are loving. Whatever decision they make, if they beat me or say some words which are so insensitive, they're still loving. Same thing to the Bible. This is a loving God. Kills 1 million and what people. They must be right. You must do that out of anger. So this is my parent. You must beat someone out of anger. So that when people say, look at me, I turned out great. It's like, no, you're toxic. If you believe that somebody could, you look at a kid getting beaten, because to be honest, if you're going to come into my house and beat me for, let's say, ulinipea do, alafu nikapoteza, and all that, just some whatever, I would report you. So why is it like with kids it's different? It's like, yeah, that's discipline. No, they lost something. You need to now retrace back to, okay, what is the problem here? Instead of that, it's like, hey, let's whoop. And then it's like, okay, fine. If that's if that's a solution, why is it that the same kids still got in trouble? The same kids still underperformed. Plus, you know, you're not teaching anything. It's like, oh, I turned out great. No, you became an adult. You're living in survival mode. You're just not trying to blame your parents for being in a path possibly you didn't choose. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm here. It's just that you knew if you didn't do that, you would fear the consequences. Yeah.
Plus, angalia nini, musemaga, we didn't turn out right. All these kids that were whooped in school are the people looting your coffers. That means they learned nothing. Because if you can steal from a poor country where people are sleeping hungry, you can steal and go home and sleep.
Yes.
These are the same people that are like, Buddha, bila Yesu hauna moral compass. One thing I can assure you, I can never steal. Ati niibe pesa ya taxpayers. Mi wonaga, nikitunisha isama, mi wonaga aibu. Like when I see an African dying of hunger, if I'm next to a white person, I'm going to switch off that screen. Because to me, it's shameful. I'm ashamed of that shit. If I had a chance to change that, shit.
And you're the one who has the chance to change that, and you look at that and it's like, people should work hard. And it's like, it's capitalism. Come on. We know about working hard. The people who do menial jobs work harder than you. spend less hours, like you spend less hours in your office. Because I've ever done menial jobs myself, and an office and a desk job, I'd spend less hours working on that than what I would do in a day just to make money. So you can't say the people who work hard, and it's like, oh yeah, work smart, but then how many tools are we exposed to? You know, how many, like, it's like somebody said, the first thing when a person tells you they are either depressed or they've gotten to that low point, and then start a business. I saw something online. They won't. Like, afadhali you find ways on how can we help you here. They're looking for one, relief. They gave a good example. This is just me talking from that post and what it said, or what I assumed it said. You give them money to start a job, they just start something out of, okay, so this is what and then it ends up even being worse. Now they have new responsibilities and they don't know how to go about it.
Plus, just be a decent human being. A decent human being is someone who respects human life. And this comes to Nini. If you put a gun to my head and you ask me, people who believe in God and people who don't believe in God, who respects life, I'll always say people who don't believe in God, because people who believe in God think there's life after death. So when you threaten them you're going to die or something, they're like, usijali, Mungu atakujaja. But this someone else will try and show you, like, there's this one life and it might not be perfect. And nature is not perfect, because sasa watu ulizaga, where did we come from? And I'm like, we are products of nature. Nature is not perfect. Nature is violent. That's why animals rip each other apart.
So you have earthquakes. They don't care.
There'll be earthquakes. There'll be all this shit. So nature is not perfect. And if nature is not perfect, where you can be born without a hand, it means your brain can also not be perfect. It's not like you're crazy, but just the chemical balance is just a little bit off. And that will mean you'll have extreme anger, extreme reactions to things. So if this woman is there threatening you that she wants to kill herself, like, don't dare her. Don't do that. The same way I always tell people, don't dare people to kill you. Najua kuna hiyo pia, someone will tell you, like, I'll kill you, and they're like, si uniue. People will kill you. Like, never. The minute you understand that the human brain is not perfect is the minute you save yourself a lot of shit, because people will kill you for no freaking reason. Utakuwa hapo kidedi because you're proving a point the way you are macho, the way you are.
Hey, that's the reason why, like, I never understand fighting in clubs. No matter how drunk I am, if you start talking back, you start doing nini, and I always feel like I'm a stronger person or just anything to my advantage, I will keep off. Because the moment utafanya nothing, mtu tu ata trip, ulikuwa umemshika hivi, ata trip anguke nini, ajigonge na chupa dead tu hapo hivyo, umeingia manslaughter. Some people have gone to jail for manslaughter. Ati sasa mko ati sa you want to show the babes, like, you can fight, you want to fight, and then people fight over petty reasons. Try and avoid anything, like, especially under the influence. It's not about what you can show people you can do. I beat up this person, and they died, and now you're in jail. There's always that.
Kuna kuaga na hiyo. Alafu pia I always say people don't value their freedom the same. You understand? Like, there are people who if you disrespect them, they're ready to lose their freedoms to earn your respect. I don't give a fuck about your respect. I'm good kabisa. So kuna that element where, like, umenikosea heshima buda, mimi nakudedisha buda, and someone will kill you for that. So ukisha understand hizi ma differences za watu, but mikilenza sema, like, when it comes to tukimalizia story ya brown skin, say, like, it's so sad to reach such a level that you can dare someone to kill themselves, number one, and then record it. Number two, keep the recording, because he could have deleted it and you'd never know that recording existed. Sindio? So the recording was to exonerate himself. He could have deleted, because these kids will grow up. And when these kids grow up without a mother, because most probably he might want to bring a Mama Wakambo. Mama Wakambo will never love these kids the same.
Just why we never know.
She might, but the probability she won't is very high, because comes back to animal nature. It's easier to love your own than something that's not your own. Don't forget, she might want to mark her territory, so she'll give birth to her kids. Now you start comparing all these kids, like, are my kids doing better in school than her? You understand? Like, you're bringing a whole, so many things can end up happening from this one thing. And when these kids grow up now, they hate your guts. And these are your kids.
Or they just have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
They grow up with a lot of anger issues. So, yeah, it's a lot to unpack from that situation itself. And, you know, many situations may not end up in, like, suicide, but I find, like, there are many situations that you find manipulative people, narcissistic people who they enjoy that toxicity. And it's like you're stuck just round and round trying to either change them, and then in the process they're trying to convince you of things. So now you start feeling like a bad person. Now you are under, what is it, Stockholm Syndrome. That's why you can't convince someone. Mtu akitaka kuachana na mtu atamwacha until I realize this is not good for me. That's when they will leave. Yeah. So it's like a lot of, and then let's say that person under the Stockholm was raised in a violent upbringing. This must look normal. So you find them going back because how they see love is they've never experienced healthy love since the beginning. Their formative years, they didn't experience healthy love. They didn't experience healthy communication. You know, it's because so many people out here akuna healthy communications. Like sometimes it's just like, oh, let me try to get a one up. Let me flip what you said just because you use this word and say unaniekelea this. Like it's a lot to unpack, and so many people end up like manipulating their partners, and that's why you find people getting out of relationships with no confidence. Some may end up in drugs and alcohol and trying to boost it, or become even the narcissist because, oh, they treated me this way, now I must treat everyone else that way. Some will get help and, you know, just know that this is not for me. Unhealthy love is not from, like, now you establish your own boundaries. Now you start knowing this came from, you know, from how I was brought up. This came and my reactions, that I should look for someone who is able to be that self-aware. That I say a lot about self-awareness, because you realize some situations can be avoided from jump.
About the guy that I was talking about, the guy who ended up committing suicide with a barbed wire. Now, the guy who gave us the story, someone like that dad at some point had so many regrets of how he could have handled it differently. Iko Nini is watched by adults. So I'm assuming out of these adults, one will end up, of course, one of us has to end up with a kid with mental health issues. And the reason why we share these stories is one day don't dare your kid to do something. That thing
don't even get them there.
Yes. No, there might be a situation whereby, because this kid, he was just telling his dad what he was thinking.
Don't dare, in the sense that there are many people who have underlying mental health issues, and they may come up in a just suddenly.
They might just tell you like, hey, sometimes I feel like I want to do this. Don't dare them. And another thing, like, we share such personal stories up, like even like one of our co-presenters anaitwa Ian lost his young brother last year to suicide. You see, and they didn't even see it coming. So when I look at that woman online, it goes back to that, like, at least this one could have been saved, because akina Ian's brother, he committed suicide at night. No one knew. So they discovered him in the morning. This woman committed suicide in front of you, and you come and you're supposed to be the person with a moral compass, and you felt like nothing was wrong. Then I go online, everyone is trying to justify it.
Oh my gosh,
and I always have a problem with that. Like, why are you justifying this thing? Like, life.
And then they're the ones who look at me, I grew up well, look at how I turned out. Yes, we can see you have many problems.
And the human brain is a complex machine.
Exactly.
Sometimes it does things that don't make sense. Another example ni umse wa Linkin Park, anaitwa Chester Bennington. Just told you another photos of the day before.
No.
He was happy, like he was at a barbecue, whatever. He was a dollar millionaire, still committed suicide. The human brain is not what you think it is, and it's one of the marvels of the universe. Like, this thing that's so good, that made our life so easy. Right now we are seated because of the human brain. Everyone is watching us because of the human brain. The internet, lights, cameras, this, you know. But still, it means inakuwaga na hizo tweaks, like something happens and, you know, things are no longer the name. So lazima nikikuuliza juu hiyo. But sasa nataka tuongejea another sad thing that you've gone through, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And this is your mother's situation.
Yeah.
So before we talk about your mother, let's go to your house. Like, how did you grow up? Mlikuwa watoto wangapi?
3. We're 3 kids. Mostly with my brother, like till like when we were 10, 9. Then we had a sister, a sibling. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're the firstborn.
Yeah.
Oh, and then your brother.
Yes. Then my brother.
And then your.
Then my sister.
Yeah. So what's the gap between you and your bro?
Just a year.
A year. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then the other gap was like
9 years. Yeah.
Okay. Same dad.
Yes. Oh. No, different dads from my sister. My sister has a different dad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
My dad also like
remarried.
No. He always treated her like his child. Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean?
Like there was no difference. Like she still lived in that house, even though my mom was separated. She could still come. She could still live with us. Like just keeping us together as siblings was there. Yeah.
Okay. Because you said your dad raised you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How's that? Like, how does that end up happening? Because mostly it's mother, father separate, kids go with the mother. How did your situation happen?
I felt maybe like it's a kissy thing.